Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Megs, and you might notice that the surroundings of my video are a little bit different today. Yes, I am in a hotel room. I'm actually in Gatineau, Quebec, where I am on, I guess you could call it a bit of a work trip. So I figured that this would be the perfect time to make a video on how to transition back to going to work after being off work for a while for specifically cancer treatment. So I wanted to be that trooper that would work right through chemo. I was like, you know what, chemo ain't got nothing on me. I'm just gonna do it. And I did it for about a month and realized that no, there's no way. So anyone who works through their chemo treatment and radiation treatment, good on you, because wow, that is tough. I have stopped working probably towards the end of April, and it is now the end of October, so I took quite a few months off of work, and I'm very, very thankful and blessed that my job allowed me to do so in order to focus on healing and getting better. But now I am healthy, I am back, and I am so ready to finally begin my career. So here's what I did to transition back into a work life. First things first, I realized that I wanted to make this as least stressful as I possibly could. I'm one of those people that panics and stresses out, and knowing that, I just really wanted to make sure that my transition back to work was smooth and stress-free, and I was genuinely very excited to go back to work because I can't sit at home. So for me, I wanted this to be a very positive and fun process. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what you can do at home and preparing yourself for going back to work, and then how you should talk to your employer and what things you can tell them to make your transition back to work a little bit smoother. Tip number one is to maintain a routine. While I was going through treatment, I still tried to get up roughly around the same time I would for work and go to bed about roughly the same time as well, just so I could keep my body in that routine of waking up early and going to bed decently early as well. And especially the last month when I already knew the date that I'd be going back to work, I really tried to make an effort to wake up at the same time that I usually would have to for work and go to bed decently early so I'd get a full 8 hours of sleep. My second tip for transitioning back to a work life has to do with food. Food, obviously, you are trying to maintain a healthy diet while you're at home, and it's easy because you have everything at your disposal. You can go to the grocery store whenever you need. However, when you're going back to work, it's not as easy, especially the whole packing your lunch, eating a healthy breakfast, making a healthy dinner. So here's what I did for that. I started off by making a schedule to get groceries regularly. That way I always had food at home that I would need for the week in order to be able to make myself a healthy breakfast, lunch for work, and then dinner when I got home. So I would schedule groceries and stuff on nights or on days where I knew that I wasn't too busy, so I didn't have a crazy packed day, and I would try to get very healthy foods and foods that are easy to make into meals. In the spirit of that, also meal prepping. Meal prepping is something that is awesome and very, very helpful for you, especially if you're really trying not to overdo it by cooking every single night and making a lunch every single day. I would spend lots of time on the internet looking at different meal prep ideas, trying out different recipes while I was at home. That way I could make a big meal for dinner and then have the leftovers for lunch the next day, and that would just take away one thing that I had to think of the next morning. Also, if you meal prep and bring a lunch to work every day, that's going to avoid you going out to eat, which will help you maintain a healthy diet and feel your best, because if you put good food in your body, you're going to feel much better than if you're putting bad food in your body, of course. And then aside from getting food ready, I also will get my clothes ready. So I went through my closet, made sure I had enough work appropriate clothing. My body did change a little bit while I was in treatment, so I did kind of have to readjust a few things, buy a few things, but just to make sure that I had at least a basic variety of clothing for now that I could wear to work so I wasn't stressed out. And yes, I'm one of those losers that likes to plan out their clothes the night before. I just think it makes mornings that much easier. So I get my work bag and my work clothes all ready the night before. My biggest problem when I used to work and I was in school and everything was stressful mornings. I would give myself an hour in the morning and it would just be me running around like a crazy person trying to get everything together. So what I'm really trying to focus on now is making those mornings as easy and smooth as possible, so I don't end up at work and I'm out of breath and frantic and already need a nap, and I'm on my second coffee of the day and it's only 8 a.m. My third tip is to take it easy for your first little while going back to work. I really want to make sure that my evenings are mostly free, so that way when I get home from a long day of work, I can just wind down and relax at home and not have too many commitments going on. This is because even if my job, for example, is a desk job, but even for any job, going back to work is a huge transition if you're used to being at home all day, waking up early and having to be productive all day, and then going home and having extra stuff to do is just very tiring, and you kind of can't, like I said, throw yourself into it. So I'm just going to try to make sure that I have my evenings free for the first little while at least. That way I can come home, properly unwind, and be ready for the next morning so I can be as productive as I can be during work hours. This means leaving bigger chores and to-do lists for the weekend or for an evening where you have lots of time and lots of energy. So stuff like going to the grocery store, stuff like cleaning your house, bigger commitments and activities, I will try to leave for the weekend on days where, I can take my time and I don't have to stress about, oh my goodness, I gotta get all of this stuff done after work. So try not to overdo it on weeknights, and make sure you create some sort of a nice wind down routine for yourself. So whether that be, having dinner, after dinner cleaning up and relaxing with a movie or a good book, or even just trying to, pamper yourself a little bit before you go to bed so you can have a nice, good wind down, relaxing routine and go to bed and then wake up the next morning fully energized. Now, what should you talk to your employer about when you're going back to work? Well, first off, I think it is very, very important to be completely honest about your health and keep them in the loop. This will not only help them better understand what you're going through, but it also help them accommodate you work-wise. Be completely honest about your health. When you're ready to go back to work, tell them what's going on, tell them the complete truth, and then tell them exactly your worries, your strengths, what you think you need to change. If you talk to them about what's going on, then they'll be able to help you modify your tasks, and if need be, work with them to modify your workload. And if you don't think that you can start off full-time right away, ask them if you can do part-time, or ask them if you can do less days per week or something like that. That would also help you move back into a good work-life balance. Ask for help when you need it. Even if you've been working there for years, you're gonna forget stuff. You've obviously had lots of other stuff on your mind these last few months. You've had lots of new information given to you about your health, about life in general, and you might not remember how to do your job perfectly, which is totally fine. So don't be shy and ask for help when you need it. And lastly, explain to your employer that you're probably still going to have plenty of medical appointments and checkups that you're going to need to go to, so that'll just keep them aware that, you might need to take an afternoon off here or there, and if they understand, then they should be absolutely fine with that. So those are my tips on how I'm going to transition back into a work-life balance. I'm really trying to make this as stress-free as possible so I can have a positive experience going back to work, and I am so excited to finally start my career. So don't worry, your energy will come back, and maybe it will be hard for the first few days, but if you're feeling totally up to it and your health is back and you want to get back in the swing of things, just keep pushing, but don't overbook yourself, because the worst thing that you can do is overdo it and make yourself sick again. So make sure you're taking on only what you can handle and don't overdo it. That is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed my little hotel background here. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks on how to make transitioning back to a work life more positive and more simple. But for now, that is all. So know yourself, know your body, and until next time.